propels it? Like, can you spend a few minutes on talking about that, deep diving, and maybe I got the content right, so you have you can educate us now.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's a true saying from my experience, which I'll be highlighting in my session as well, that IQ can get you only to a certain extent to get the right job, but it's EQ that takes you to the next level. Especially as TPMs, we don't work in silos, we work in a collaborative environment. With COVID coming in, hybrid remote culture is being expanding. We work with diverse cross-functional teams, be it marketing, engineers, product, customer success, whatnot. You cover the entire spectrum of the organization. And that too, you work with global teams with different time zones. Sometimes you don't even meet the person you work with, but you have to get the work done. And the most important part is bringing everyone together with a shared vision. It requires a magical power, and that's EQ for me. For TPMs, it's extremely important to manage navigate cross-functional complexities, dynamics, to get that shared vision in place. And also one thing, if you observe, is market is very competitive. Everyone works at fast deadlines to deliver the things faster. So ability to take control of yourself first and then able to empathize with your team, help them lead under stress, and also effectively contribute to your team in the stressful conditions is not an easy job. So as a TPM, I think you should, through EQ, we should promote that culture of openness and emphasizing self-care, as Jen also was mentioning about self-care for yourself, and also encourage your teams to do that, to handle stress and deliver extraordinary results under pressure situations. I think EQ comes in hand for all of these.
Let's debrief on two things, like how many people that you work together have you met in person? Is it challenging, or?
It's very challenging, especially currently at GitHub we are remote first, so I haven't met a lot of people I work with. I'm actually working, it's an interesting scenario, I'm working on a critical product launch and I haven't met the key DRI I closely work with, so I'm actually meeting him at the product launch when everything is done, all the challenges are encountered, like a success win.
Do you think remote first is an obstacle for EQ or for the development of the skill set for the TPM, for everyone literally?
I don't think it's a hurdle. I think the most important part in any culture, right, whether you're meeting in person or virtual, is to able to step into other shoes and understand how they feel, what their values are, what their concerns are. If you can inculcate that effective listening and able to connect with people, distance does not really matter. It's all about your shared vision, what you are like trying to do together in an organization, and able to have that atmosphere. Even in virtual environments, you can always like have a Zoom call to get to know someone, like how we do coffee chats in regular office meetings. So you don't get that opportunity to connect with people. You just have to find time and make an effort to do that.
You split up EQ in three things, like empathy, self-awareness, and social skills. What do you think is the most underrated of those three?
Underrated. Good question. So there are three pillars, right? Self-awareness, empathy, and social skills. So if you look at one person, the social skills usually come into play like whenever we are seeing some person, the social skills like how they speak, how they communicate, that come into picture. So self-awareness is somewhat, it's the basic foundation, but it is like very underrated. So unless you know yourself, right, who you are, how your emotions are, what are your strengths, weaknesses, and what triggers you to interact in certain way, you cannot build empathy or communicate very clearly or articulate the thoughts. So I think everyone should focus on self-awareness first. Try to understand yourself, understand others, and then collaborate together.
Yes, that's a good. Did you see like, or meet it like in your year-long experience, people who have mastered that, or did you have like people who you learned that from, you gathered the input from? Like, how did you?
For the EQ?
Yeah, for the EQ, like how did you arrive in being today and speaking about this?
That's a good question. I'm also giving away some of the things.
No worries.
So basically, it started when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Somebody gifted me a book on emotional intelligence. Being a teen me, I was like, I don't need this book. I'm not emotional. I'm very super strong girl, and then I'm very intelligent. So I just kept that book aside and didn't worry about it. But then when I started working, then I figured out like emotional intelligence is really important. How it comes into play when you work with different people, right? Different cultures, different levels of expertise, right? So it started then, and from a teenager to now a mother of a teenager, I've seen it useful, and I have also been growing professionally and personally, and EQ is like helping me a lot. It's one of my favorite topics to keep me sane, especially like when you're working in fast deadlines and working with different people, and also managing a teenager at home. So I read a lot of books. I listen to webinars, podcasts. This is something I constantly learn each day. And also, I'm very fortunate to be with wonderful leaders. I could like take insights from and cues from. So I learn a lot at my job also, working with peers, leaders, and see how they are able to navigate the critical situations through EQ.
I think at the moment, like you read the book, you didn't know that you became a TPM. What did you enjoy most about being in TPM in general?
In general, so TPM I feel is like a glue to keep all the teams together. And we are also like a compass to spearhead teams in the right direction. I see myself and enjoy myself in the sense of music. Like you're a conductor of a music. You don't really play the instruments, but you should exactly know when that violin should swell, or when the trumpet should go and have a blast, and then when the drums should exactly come in sync to create a perfect program harmony to give like a nice symphony experience to a users or customers. So I find myself like a musical a conductor. Basically, we are in the melody of technology and rhythm of executing business strategy. I really have all the dots. And the fun gets even interesting when you're trying to solve a puzzle together, and then the puzzle keeps changing, the shapes keep changing.
Yeah.
So literally, if you can thrive in that chaos, I think you have mastered and enjoying the TPM journey. That's what I feel.
All right. And talking about advices, and like you having a teenager. So my daughter is like 4 years old, so I'm on that journey. But today is like all about technical program management, TPM summit, people coming together, networking. What are two advices that you would give like TPMs along with it, specifically when they want to break into the TPM role and being around it?
Yeah. So if you're really interested into being that conductor, orchestrator, TPM role is just the fit for you. I figured out early when I was a software engineer working in individual problems, I think I wanted to go to the bigger picture where I'd be able to focus more and execute together. That's caused my foray into the TPMs. Two things of advice I would definitely give is lean in and endure the ambiguity. Because things are not going to be straight. Always there are challenges, always there are puzzles. So you need to be able to be flexible, adapt, and act super agile, fast, and lead your team to that program success in changing times. And also I see like there are few TPMs or few people who are just focused on like I need to get this project plan done, or just focusing on the Gantt chart status reports. Please don't do that. Please understand and be empathetic to the folks around, and we live in a small world, so having that connections, right, personal professional connections, really authentic connections take you a long way. So try to drive impact, building shared vision and getting everyone together to work with a purpose. That takes you a long way in your journey. So who knows, you might work with your ex-colleagues, or so don't burn bridges ever, and try to derive the outcome in a right way. That's my key advice.
And one thing, like if you if you follow along the day, it's like we will like meet a lot of like-minded people. You meet people that you might have met, that you work together. So thank you, Prashant, for the insights. I hope we didn't expose too much on what you're talking about. Good luck on the stage.
Thank you.
And for those who are currently online with us, enjoy the next sessions. And for all of us, have a great day. And we will be back at 10:45.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Thank you.